Hello, Virgo. Welcome in. Welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energy, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. This is a bonus reading for Virgo because you continue to have some of the highest viewership in these readings, so I'm going to continue to send you out more readings. So, what's hidden from Virgo? Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Cross watchers are always welcome. What's hidden from Virgo? Thank you. Interesting. Outcome and advice. Thank you. All right, turn these cards over, see what we're working with. All right, in the overall energy, Virgo, we have Death, Two of Swords, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Ten of Cups reverse, and Knight of Swords in reverse. Knight of Swords reverse, I'm not surprised by. We're in Mercury retrograde, rushing to a negative conclusion. Ten of Cups reverse, being overwhelmed in emotions. Okay, something has ended. Let's start at the beginning. Something has ended. Death card. Definite ending. And there's confusion. Someone's not seeing something at the ending. Someone's very confused around an ending. There's a lot of, it feels like purposeful confusion. They're going through a lesson, karmic lesson, overwhelmed in emotions and rushing to conclusions. Okay, so what has ended with the Death card? Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Death card followed by Two of Swords, Wheel of Fortune reversed, and then these cards fell. The Two of Swords is now reversed and the Wheel of Fortune is now upright. Judgment reverse is the other card that's up, right? Okay. Hey. It's an interesting way these cards are coming out, but I read intuitively, so I'm going to go with this. Someone who lacked judgment around an ending. I get the feeling that there's two different threads around an ending. An ending created more confusion. They're in lesson, karmic lesson. And so around an ending, they're confused because they're receiving karma. They're overwhelmed in emotions and rushing to conclusions. The overwhelm in emotions are creating false beliefs that they're just rushing to. The Knight of Swords, one of the fastest moving knights or energies really in the whole tarot deck. The Knight of Swords in reverse is fast, very quickly running with a negative mindset, a false reality. It feels like it's false because there's so many disappointing emotions. And then I'm also getting, so it feels like that's one person's experience after an ending. Very confusing. It starts them being in lesson, incredibly unhappy and rushing to beliefs as to why they're so unhappy. Someone else, after a definite ending, Death card, is very clear. After an ending, the clarity starts happening. There was confusion, but now they're seeing clearly. And with Wheel of Fortune upright now, this person is now receiving luck. Things are going their way. Feels like they're coming out of a karmic situation that's been very difficult. What's then happens? What's the second person's, what's next? What happens next? Two of Wands reverse. This person in the second row reimagines themselves and their life and gets back out there. This is a process. The story of the Two of Wands is this fella here has rushed, gone through life, gotten back home, and has this belief, I've experienced it all. I've seen it all. I've experienced it all. There's nothing left to experience. So in their old life, maybe, but this person needs to reimagine their life, reimagine themselves, reimagine. Feels like upright, this person is challenged by their imagination. Two of Wands up in reverse is my card for that person has then reimagined themselves, reimagined their life, and gotten back out there in this new world. All right. Then what's the next step for this second person? Boy, a lot. Okay. Starting with Justice. Healing from a mother wound. Staying balanced in your thinking, creating justice for yourself. Balance by staying balanced in your thoughts. It has not been my experience in this world that justice is not something outside of you that you need to have before you can move on. If you need someone else to be punished before you can move on, then that person and their lack of punishment is taking your power away. It has been my experience. To receive justice, you embody justice. You stay balanced in your thoughts. She's got the balance. She's balanced, so staying balanced, not going off the rails in any direction. And then Chariot, making moves, moving on, staying balanced in your thoughts despite a painful ending is what I'm getting. Okay. So I'm perceiving after an ending, someone got more confused, were in lesson, incredibly upsetting emotions, and rushing to conclusions around who to blame. I get the feeling that this first line that I'm describing is kind of blaming the second person here. Very critical. All right. And then the second person, after an ending, is getting more and more clarity. Things start going their way. They've got to reimagine themselves and their life. They go after that. Create justice by becoming justice and making moves, moving on. There's also the Empress reverse and Ten of Swords. Why is the Empress reverse, Ten of Swords, linked to the second person? Who's the Empress reversed? Hierophant with the Empress reversed and Ten of Swords. Painful ending. Hierophant could be someone, a teaching contract, a traditional way of being. There's some type of contract. Let's see if we can get closer. Why is the Hierophant here? Contract, expectation in reverse, and sad news. Ooh. Not what was expected. There's something about this toxic feminine energy around death, around an ending. The way they react to an ending. So I'm going to take a stab. It feels like you are the second line. It feels like this is an ending of some type of connection relationship. And at the ending, whoever you ended it with becomes more and more confused, in lesson, emotionally upset, overwhelmed. And it feels like this person creates a lot of fictions to explain the difficulties they've had since the ending. And it feels like they use a lot of blame on you. It looks like you, viewer, after an ending, get more and more clarity. Things feel so much better the more you're out after this ending. Your ability to reimagine yourself in your life and go back out there to be balanced, to create justice for yourself by balancing your thoughts, making moves, moving on. You might have moved. And then there's this toxic feminine energy, Empress reversed, in connection with you. Feels like you communicated an ending to this toxic feminine, like explaining the bad news, the sad news about an ending, and this person did not react the way you expected. It feels like you might have expected kindness or caring from this person, and instead they're betraying you. A lack of care. Let's see who this Empress reversed is with their back turned. It feels like you might have thought they were a soft place to land or they would care. But it looks like when you explained this ending that you're not expecting the way they responded, the way they reacted. Feels painful, hurtful. All right. Well, maybe you were wishful thinking with this person. Smell the roses in reverse. Slow down. Take some time, your time. Take some you time. Boy, get out in nature. But in reverse, it feels like at a time when you couldn't slow down, when you didn't have time for you. It feels like you were asking for help, maybe. It was a time when you were on the go. And then thrills reverse. Continuous cycles, bad decisions, addictions. It looks like you stopped continuing cycles. You stopped choosing someone who didn't choose you, and stop the addiction. It feels like these cards are more identifying you and where your mind was around this Empress reverse, and it's not really giving me theirs. Any chance we can get a good bead on the Empress reversed? Family reversed. Blood ties, inner circle. But I'd almost say that's upright family. It could be that you expected someone who would be like family, be a friend around an ending, but it feels like they're not friendly at all. Like they're okay with this ending or something. That's all right. Let's look in what's hidden. We had the Hierophant in reverse. The Hierophant upright came out with the Empress in reverse. Tell me what's hidden about the Hierophant reverse. Knight of Cups reversed, Nine of Cups reversed. I get the feeling that whoever is in this first line, whoever you're breaking up with, an ending with, whoever that first line I was describing, feels like they got to this toxic feminine energy and told them lies, manipulated their emotions. I'm getting a poor, pitiful pearl type of energy, like they made it out to that you're the problem, that they're upset, they're the good guy. All right, anything else in what's hidden? It feels like the first person, it feels like an ending. It could be an ex. It feels like the end of a relationship between two people. And then there's this toxic Empress in reverse that could be family, that you might have expected because of nostalgia, because they're family, that they would be on your side or be a support. But it feels like your ex got to them first. Someone who, I don't feel like your ex is responsible for this toxic feminine's energy. I feel like feels like this whole thing is helping you see who's for you and who's not. And World reverse, Three of Wands reverse. I get the feeling that you didn't want to repeat this cycle. A lack of expansion, repeating cycles. I get that seeing that this person as painful. This feels very painful. Painful enough to have an ending with someone, but to have some family member, when you explain the sad news, it feels like they already knew, or they've already chosen a side. This is not a friend. And I think it's important for you to see, so you can stop choosing this ride. Anything else? Boy, Death card again. A definite ending. Hierophant reversed. There's a belief here that you can't be alone. there's something here that purposeful, creating an ending. And the people involved in this that I'm tuning into, other than you, have this belief that you can't be alone. And so there's something here about this ending that's meant to put a stop to your behavior, to humble you. Because they don't think you could do it alone. They think that you need them. And so they're not expecting you to do what you did. They're not expecting you to have clarity and see everybody for who they are and what their actions are, what their work. Got it. I think they were expecting you to lose your stuff. But instead, you grabbed hold of your wheel of fortune, your destiny, reimagined your life, and got back out there. Created justice and balance for yourself. Not focusing on these yahoos, because focusing on them, needing to change their mind, needing to punish, see them hurt or something like that keeps you involved in it. And it looks like you've moved on, making moves in a different direction. It feels like that they weren't expecting that. They were expecting for this ending to decimate you so then they could what was the plan next? If the viewer couldn't be alone and create such devastation, they thought you were going to be in this learned helplessness, unable to help yourself, stuck, completely stuck, unable to support yourself. Very burdened after a breakup. And seeking their help so somehow they could control how you rebuild, who you become, something like that. All right. In the outcome and advice, we have the Fool reversed. Reckless, repeating cycles, reckless behavior. Why is the Fool card here? 8 of Pentacles. Reckless work, reckless with your money, reckless with their time. Ooh, reckless with money, reckless with opportunities. Okay, I'm also getting that the plan was for you to repeat cycles, to get you being reckless. Instead, it looks like you start getting to work. What's the missed opportunity? What's the Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Why is that in the outcome and advice? Knight of Wands, 4 of Swords. I get the feeling they were planning on decimating you and that you would be helpless. Feels like they kind of created that situation for you to be completely helpless, repeat cycles, reckless in your behavior, stuck, unable to see clearly what's happening. But instead, it's like you got to work and world building, start going after what you desire, rebuilding your own world and healing along the journey. And that healing creating a lot of stability. Feeling your mindset. So it doesn't look like this ending worked. Yeah, you just stopped working with these people. Three of Pentacles in reverse. I think this ending allowed you to see who people really were and recognize why you haven't had success, why things have been so confusing, because you haven't had people really on your side. So these two energies that I've tuned into, it's like they wanted to leave you without resources. They wanted you to stop going after what you desire, to stop seeing things differently, to see things how they see things. So, wow. All right, that's your reading. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.